Hi guys, so we are back at it again. We are now doing the paper 4, 1, 2 and 3. So I tried to record as much as possible today because I still have to rush to work later on. So you notice the set is different because I forget to bring my mic to office. So I'll be using this Lavia mic here and the sound quality might not be as good. So I do apologize for that, and I hope you find this video beneficial. So without further ado, let's get started with the video. So for the next paper that we're gonna do now is set 43. So let's have a look at the first question that we have here. The Earth's surface area is approximately 510,100,000 kilometers square. Surface area in standard form. So basically you have to calculate how many times you need to shift the dot from here to here. So I got my results as 5.101 times 10 to the power of 8. So pretty straightforward so far for the first question. So 70.8% of the Earth's surface, okay, so you take this results times 70.8%. Which will result in 361,150,800. So they didn't mention about whether you have to convert it into standard form, so you can just leave the answer as this. So for what I key in the calculator is actually 5.101 times 10 to the power of 8 times 70.8% to make the calculation possible. So for part B, let's look at the chart. Okay, the table shows surface area of some country and their estimated population in 2017. Find the total surface area of Brunei and Maldives. Okay. So you get your answer as 6,070. Okay. So next thing, they wanted you to compare the surface area of Maldives to surface area of China in the form of 1 to n. So Maldives will be the main indicator here. So all you need to do is take 1, and the n on the other hand will actually be China's surface area being divided by Maldives surface area. Maldives is actually 3 times 10 to the power of 2. So this, just trace it accordingly. So you get an answer of 32,000. Okay, so that's pretty much it for B number 2. Moving on, find the surface area of France as a percentage of surface area of China. So we already gotten China's surface area. It was 9.6 times 10 to the power of 6. So for France, we got it as 6.41 times 10 to the power of 5. So let's double check the value here. So we get the answer as 6.666667 times 10 to the power of 10. And then remember, they wanted it to be in percentage. So you still have to multiply it by 100. Okay, so this will get you the results as 6.67. Okay, as the answer. Find the population density of Maldives, where you take the population divided by its surface area. Maldives, we have 374, okay, divided by the surface area that we have was 3 times 10 to the power of 2. So this, you will get your results as. However, there's no 0.67%, so you're required to round this to 1249, or if you were to write it in 3 significant figures, then it will be 1250. So both is accepted for this particular question. So for the next one, it's pretty straightforward. So first you need to identify who's the original one. So this is obviously new, this is original. So percentage of increase, so I'll be taking our 7.53 times 10 to the power of 9 minus off with 6.02 times 10 to the power of 9 divided by 6.02 times 10 to the power of 9. So with this action being taken, then you will get your results as 151 over 602. Okay, this is before you convert it into percentage. After you multiply it with 100, then you get your final results as 25.1% after correcting it to 3 significant figures. Assume that the population of Earth increased exponentially each year of these 17 years. Assume the value of y. So based on what they gave us, we took 6.02 times 10 to the power of 9, multiply with, okay, to the power of 17. They gave us everything already. And it will equals to 7.53 times 10 to the power of 9. So with all this information, I'll be taking 100% plus y%, okay, to the power of 17 equals to 7.53 times 10 to the power of 9 divided by, okay. The next thing that I'm gonna do is to get rid of the power of 17. So 100% is actually 1 plus y% equals to root of 17. Then the results that we gotten here. Okay, and then minus off it by 1. So with all this being done, okay, you will get your final results as times 100. To make it into 3 significant figures, you will get your rate as 1.33%. So that's pretty much it for question 1C part 2. Okay, moving on to question 2. Okay, draw the image of triangle A after a rotation of 90 degrees anti-clockwise about 0, 0. So this is the point of rotation that they gave us. So as per usual, I'll be placing my rulers here. And anti-clockwise, which means the graph will be located on the left-hand side. So with this, I can estimate that the point will be arriving somewhere around here then. Okay, this should be okay. When it is reflected over, it will be right over here, and the pointy part will be at the top, together with this will form our A's image. So that's it for question 1. Moving on, they wanted us to have a translation of 3, -5, which means I'm going to the right hand side by 3 times, going downwards by 4. So to make it easier to see, I'm doing this for you over here. Let's say I selected this point, 3 steps, down step by 5 steps. So you're arriving right on top of here. This should be the answer after the translation. This should be it. Alright, so moving on. We have the following question asking us for single transformation of A onto B. Okay, no more question here. So to make this easier, it's obviously a enlargement. Okay, try to adjust it. Okay, so I draw this point, then the other side. When I rotate this, then the last one will then indicate that it is over here. The point where they all intersect will be this. So if I were to write the statement, I will mention that it is an enlargement from the point 1, 4 with a scale factor of, so this is about 3. So how did I identify whether it's 3 or not? The easiest way is to check this. You have 1 step here, and then here it suddenly becomes 3. So 1 times 3, you will get your result as 3. So that's pretty much it for question 2. Moving on to question 3, the lowest speed recorded was this one over here. So this is actually 43. The median is located over here. This is 65. And the interquartile range is by taking this one, which is 71 minus off with 58. So 71 minus 58, you will get your answer as 13. And that's for your interquartile range. So another car takes 18 seconds to travel 400 meters along this road. Find the average speed in kilometers per hour. So things to take note was the unit they gave us. For meters, to make it into kilometers, you're required to divide it by 1000. For second, to make it into hours, you're required to divide it by 60 to make it into minutes, and divide another 60 to make it into hours. So through your calculation, you should be getting 80 kilometers per hour for your part B's calculation. Moving on to the next slides. We have probability question. First, keyword without replacement. So they pick 2 letters. Okay, make sure that the letters is Y first. So you will now narrow down the question into Y versus not Y. So Y, I have 1. Okay, and the rest. So I have 10, there is none y here. Total cards will be 11. So letter y means 1 over 11 multiplied with 10 over 10. So this will be 1 over 11 as the final answer. Why is it 10 over 10? Because without replacement, after one card was being taken out, you only have 10 cards left. Whereas for letter B followed by letter Y, what we have here is 1 over 11 followed by 1 over 10. So this will change the results into 1 over 110. Okay, so for the next part, for two letters to be the same, okay, the option is kind of limited. It's either both is S, both is I. Okay, so let's say I do the S one first. Okay, in this condition, adding up with I and I. Okay, so the answer will go by 2 over 11 times 1 over 10. And the other one will be 3 over 11 times 2 over 10. Why is it 3? You might wonder. 3 is actually because there's 3 alphabet I over there. So add this two scenario results out and you will get your answer as 4 over 55. So Morgan now pick a third letters at random. Find the probability that all 3 letters is the same. So only one alphabet fulfill this requirement, which is our I over there. So you get 3 over 11 times 2 over 10 times 1 over 9 because another letters has been taken out. So the final answer is 1 over 165 as your final answer. So part 2, exactly 2 letters of the 3 letters are the same. So this is very tricky because there's 2 separate scenarios where you have to add up. So you have S, S and not S. Okay. And then there is S, not S, S, followed by S, not S, S, S. And the other one will be I, not I, followed by I, not I, and I. Then the last one is not I, and I. So all 3 you have to add them up. So now let's list down the possibility. We got 2 over 11 times 1 over 10 times 9 over 9. All you need to do, you don't have to repeat all of them, you just have to put a 3 at the front. Because the numerator and the denominator will still be the same, and then their places was just being changed. Same goes to the 1 at the back. We have plus 3 over 11, 2 over 10, and 8 over 9. So with this, you will get 1 over 5 as your final answer. So all 3 letters is different. Okay. So you just have to take the probability that we gotten earlier from here, which is 1 over 165. You can take it and minus off 1 over 165. Aside from this, you can also minus off the condition where exactly 2 letters of the 3 letters are the same. Okay, so minus this off as well. Let's double check. So you get your answer as 131 over 165. So these two things that you minus off, one will eliminate the condition where all three letters are the same, and the other one will eliminate the chances of two of them being the same. So this is the shortcut where you can use to identify your part 3's results. So 5 number A. So first thing first, they're looking for x. X is actually 162 divided by 2, which is 81. So the reason for this is that alright, so this is for your x. Moving on, they are looking for y. Okay, so for y over there, y will also be 81. Do you know why? Because we are using alternate segment theorem. So this is the angle. So whatever that was here, this will be the same. So we have CD's line. So this is what we call. Then for the last one, with this information, we now know this particular part, the value will actually be 180 minus 81 minus 42, which is 57. So with this 57 plus z equals to 180. The reason is cyclic quadrilateral. So z's value will actually be 180 minus 57. You will get your results as 123. So that's pretty much it for identifying the angles involved here. Okay, now moving on, what we have next is a triangle that is mathematically similar and they share one point, which is P. Alright, so actually why triangle PQR is similar to PUT. First of all, I will mention that TU and RQ is parallel. Okay. However, this has been given by the question, so you cannot use that as a point anymore. So next thing I would be using is like what I mentioned. Angle P is the point that they share. So I'll be writing angle QPR is the common angle shared across the two triangles. Then the next thing that we'll be mentioning will be angle PUT is equals to angle PQR. Okay, because of corresponding. Same goes to PT. PTU, where's my T? Also is a corresponding angle. Okay, so that's pretty much it for part 1. Then they gave us PT was 4, TR was 3. Okay, PT was 4, PR was 3. They then asked us for the value. So things to take note, you are having PT versus PR, which is 4 versus 4 plus 3. So this is the scale factor that involved. So in short, it will repeat it over here, which is 4 to 7. So when they want that PUT is 20 degree, Okay, so PUT is 20, not degree, but centimeter. Okay, they ask us for this. So you have no choice but to calculate the entire thing, one big, one small. This was 4, and then the area was 20. Since they gave us area, so I'll be using square root to cancel off the squares effect. And the other one is 7, and we are finding the unknown first. This unknown here will help us to identify the entire part. So this is not the same. To avoid any confusion, I will put this as y, then let's see. I put this as y to avoid any confusion. So to find the area, you have to cross multiply them. Okay, equals to 7 square root 20 divided by 4, unknown equals to 7 square root 20 over 4 squared. So 7 times square root 20 divided by 4 and then square the results. You will get it as 61.25. And to find this y alone, I'll be taking 61.25 minus 20, and you will get the results as 41.25 as the quadrilateral TURQ's value. So moving on, we are at question 6 now. Find the volume of this cuboid. Pretty straightforward. Just take 8 times 5 times 11. Then you will get the answer right away, which is 440. Okay, so Ivana has a pencil of a length of 13 cm. Does this pen fit completely inside the cuboid, and how do you decide it? So let's say I wanted the pen to fit entirely, which means the pen, maybe it's somewhere that I would place over here, where it involves the diagonal. Okay, so I'll be joining point G and A together for calculation. So I need one more information, which is AC's length, for the calculation to be possible. Because the angle that I'm looking at now is actually GCA, but then I don't have AC's information. So through Pythagoras Theorem, you key in 8 square plus 5 square, you get the results as 89. So I put in 89 over here. Same thing, AG is 89 square plus 11. Okay, remember it's a square root. You will get the results as square root 210, which translates into 14.5 centimeters. So with the pencil being measured at 13, it can fit completely. Okay, that's some new proving types of question. Moving on, they wanted you to calculate angle CAB. For it to be done, we'll be focusing at the triangle that we have earlier, but this time only uses the information that we already gotten, which is this is 8 and here is B. It's actually a right angle triangle because it's a rectangle base. So with all this information, if you want to find this, the 5 will now be the opposite and this will be the adjacent. So tangent CAB equals to 5 over 8. Angle CAB is actually tangent inverse 5 over 8. So the answer for this is actually 32 degrees, right? Moving on, we have GAC here that they wanted to find. Okay, like what I said, we already gotten the information that we needed. G, C, and I have A right over here. AC we gotten as 89. GC is actually the 11 that was given to us. So same thing, it will also be a 90 degree. So the same thing again, tangent GAC equals to opposite, which is our 11 here, over our square root 89. So GAC will now be tangent inverse of 11 square root 89, where you will get your answer as 49.4. That's the degree that they are looking for. So that's pretty much it for question 6. Okay, so for 7 part A number 1. So you're required to use the traditional factorization method. It can be 8 times 3 for this, and x for this. 8x, 3x's. They wanted to be 5x at the center, so I will put it this way. The front one is negative, the next one is positive. So after the factorization process, you should get the following answer. Okay. Moving on, what we have will be part 2, where you have to find A, B, and C. So for us to get to A, it was 8 minus x equals to 0, x equals to 8, and 3 plus x equals to 0, x equals to negative 3. So your A's coordinate will actually be negative 3, 0, and your B's coordinate will be 8, 0. So with these two being done, okay, the C you actually don't have to calculate because it is basically when your x equals to 0. So 24 plus 5, 0 minus 0 being squared is obviously 24, where the results here will be the following for A, B, C. And I just realized they weren't asking for coordinates. So all you need to do is to find the value of the respective point, which is the one that I shaded in yellow. Moving on to part 3, calculate the gradient of y equals to 24 plus 5x minus x squared at x equals to negative 1.5. So remember, whenever you solve this type of question, it's asking you to find the differentiated results, because this is what we call gradient function. Okay, so after you differentiated the results here, you can write this as 24 plus 5x1 minus 1x squared. Bring out the power, and then minus the power by 1. You will get your final answer as 5, because this will be completely cancelled off. 0 multiplied with 24 will get you 0 right away. And x to the power of 0 is 1, followed by negative 2x's. So when your 5 minus 2x, okay, your x will be substituted by negative 1.5. You will get your results as 5 plus 3, which is 8. So this, your gradient function will be 8. So for part B, sketch the graph. Okay, so this is what was given to us. So you will know x equals to -1 and x equals to 3. So these are the 2 points that I know right away. Maybe -1 is somewhere around here and 3 is somewhere around here. Then the other things that I will do is to expand the entire part, which is I will know there is a 9 here, okay, because that's the y-intercept. Okay, so with all this information, you now can proceed and draw it out. So the center will be located somewhere around here. Okay, so let's say this is the point. Okay, when you draw the curve, it should look something like this. Okay, so this is the rough sketch that I will be using. Okay, something like this basically. But remember, this part here will get your marks deducted because there's like multiple lines over there. So little things that you have to take note, be careful and avoid this type of drawing. But this should be how the overall graph be looking like. So this point here will be obviously at the top, okay? Okay, you can actually get the exact coordinates, but it is not required here. So I won't be finding it unless they mention about what's the turning point. Then I will differentiate the brackets over there. But this is actually admit syllabus, so they do not expect you to find the exact turning points coordinates. As for part 2, write the following. Okay, so we already done it. I didn't expect it would be used here. So our A will be 1, okay, B will be -5, C will be 3, and D will be 9. So that's pretty much it for the final calculation in question 7. So we are solving question 8a now, where AC will be AB plus BC. It should be 6, -1 added with -2, 5. So with this, your final answer should be 4, 4. Whereby for BD, it will be BC added with CD. So there's a change of direction. So whatever that we have in DC, if it's a positive originally, it will now be changed to negative. While if it's negative, it will now transform into positive. So what we have will be -2, 5 plus with -2, 3. So this, the final answer, it will be somewhere around -4, 8. So this will be our part 2's answer. So A, number 3. So this question, you saw the 2 line there. That's the modulus function. Okay, basically what you need to do to solve this question is to use Pythagoras Theorem. So our Pythagoras Theorem results will be taking -2 square plus 5 square. So let's check your answer over here. You will get it as square root 29, which then after correcting into 3 significant figures, it will be 5.39. Okay, so this is for part 1, 2, and 3. Moving on, we have another set of graph here. So to find AB, so from the statement here, the first thing that I noticed was this part here is very important. A is the midpoint of OB. So by finding AB's value, I know that it will be the same as OA. So let's find AB first. Means I have to go through AC plus CB, which is A plus B. And here will be A plus B as well. So with these two information, now they wanted us to find OE then. E is actually midpoint of AC, which means OA here is actually half A, then the other side will be half A. So OA is basically our AB, then AE will be half A. So OA plus AE, so we get our results as A plus B plus 1 over 2A, which after combining everything, you will get your results as 3 over 2A plus B as your final answer. As for part 3, they wanted position vector of D. So by looking at it, you should know that CD is actually 1/3 of B, while DB is actually 2/3 of B. So with all this information, you add everything up. Okay, the only routes that we can go to OD will be OE plus EC plus CD. So OE is what we gotten, which is 3 over 2A plus B. EC is actually the half A that we gotten earlier. And CD is the 1/3 B that we identified. So with all this information, you get 2A plus 4 over 3B. Okay, so with all this being done, let's move on to question 9. Find the integer that satisfies this. You first have to split them up. So you will get this, where x is more than 1, whereby for the other hand, x will be less than or equals to 5. So for integers value that's fulfill this will be 5, 4, 3, 2 only, while 1 is not accepted to be part of this equation. As for next one, the things that we're repeating here is 3y. After taking 3y out, I have a balance of 2y inside for the 6y squared. I will have a 5x for the 15xy over there. As for the one at the bottom, please categorize them together first before you apply a plus b, a minus b's concept. So y minus 3x and y plus 3x. So this is for part 2. Moving on to section C, you will have to multiply them to have the same denominator. As for numerator part, it will result as shown over here, where when you multiply everything together, okay, you will get your final answer as 4x plus 5 over x minus 1, 2x plus 1. So this will be the answer that I've set for part C. So you're not required to expand the bracket. Please take note on this, else it will defeat the purpose of having you to simplify it. As for part D, they will intersect each other, which means the y lines will be equals to each other. Okay, when I arrange everything up, okay, my A will be 2, B will be 4, and C will be negative 13. So the key indicator on me to use the equation is because they ask for 2 decimal places. So through the equation, negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a, sub in all the information. You should have your answer as 1.74 or negative 3.74. Okay, with these two coordinates, okay, please remember they are looking for the 2 points. If you stop here, you will lose the marks. Please remember to finish up your calculation by taking your y equals to 3, 1.74 plus 2. So you are required to calculate them. You will get 7.22. Wow, if you were to calculate it here, you will get a result as negative 9.22. So the final coordinates that you should be giving to the examiner will be 1.74, 7.22, followed by negative 3.74, negative 9.22 for your question 9. So moving on to the last part, I suppose. We have question 10 over here where it involves gradient calculation. So I will be calculating H2 first, where 3 squared, we get 9. So H2 is 9, so now you sub in the 9 into function f. You will get the results as above, which is negative 23. To find the function inverse, remember the 3-step. Change into y. So this is our step 1, where I write y minus 3x. Step 2 is to swap x and y. So I gotten. Then the last step is to rearrange and find new y here. 3y equals to 4 minus x. Y equals to 4 minus x over 3. That will be your final answer. Moving on, substitute the negative 1 minus 2x into x position. You will get your answer as 4 minus 3 plus 6x. So 1 plus 6x will be your final answer. Moving on, we have g of x minus 9gx. So let me pull out the equation so that I can refer. So g of x is actually 4 minus 3x here, okay? Minus with 9, our gx is actually x squared plus x. So this 4 minus 3x will be replaced into the x squared position, plus with 4 minus 3x minus with 9x squared minus 9x. So if you were to complete the calculation, this will be it. Which is at negative 36x. Or you can extract out whatever that was repeating. In our case, it will be 4. So 4 bracket 5 minus 9x will be my final answer. As for next one, we have 1 over hx squared. H dash squared is actually 3 to the power of x equals to 9 to the power of kx. So your task is to change up the 9. Okay, it's actually 3 squared, and then we have kx at the front. So I bring this up by adding a negative into the power section. After multiply everything together, I have a task which is to compare these two together. So negative x equals to 2kx. They wanted us to find k, which means I'm getting rid of the x over here. So k will be negative 1 over 2 as your final answer. So that's pretty much it for section D's calculation. Moving on, we have the last question, which is question 11 here. It is clearly a sequence. Okay, so for part A, it's pretty straightforward. We have 4, 9, 14, 19. The difference is fixed at 5, which means it is a arithmetic sequence. So 19 plus 5, you will get your next term as 24. So details I write in blue here. Okay, so to find the nth term, you already identified the changes. Only things you need to do is to identify the 0th term. So over here, after 4 minus 5, it will be negative 1. So you know that it is 5n minus 1. So the 5 is the common changes here, okay, and the negative 1 is your 0th term. Moving on, we have a 3, 10, 29, 66. Okay, the difference is quite weird. Okay, so there's no clear indication of what's their relationship here. So if that's the case, I will try out my last result, where it is involving cube. The difference between 12 to 18 is 6. So let's say I assume there's another 6 here. So let's try to trace 18 plus 6, the difference is 24. Okay. Okay. So 37 you plus 24 is actually 61. So from 66 you plus 61, you will get 127. So this is the assumption that I'm making, where it is actually cube related. Okay, so I will bring up a cube formula over here so that you can see. Then I will proceed with my calculation. Okay, so to make this calculation easier, I'll be labeling them in different shape. So the formulas goes by an cube plus bn squared plus cn plus d. So my equation here is 6a equals to the bottom. So a is 1, then 12a plus 12b equals to 12. 12 times 1 plus 12b equals to 12. 12b equals to 0. b is 0 here. Then the next part of the calculation, 7a plus 3b plus c equals to 7. Okay, so this you will cancel them off as well. Then the last part, a plus b plus c plus d equals to 3. So 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus d equals to 3. d is actually 2. So with all this being said, I'm able to prove this equation over here after substituting my a, b, c, d. a is 1, okay, b, c, d. So n cubed plus 2 as my final answer. So it's really tricky, and there's a few questions that might comes up. One is a wow. Okay, so you need to know what's the formula for you to calculate when it's cube related. So if I didn't do and trace it from the back using the formula this way up, I wouldn't be able to get the answer as well. Okay. Remember, 36 plus 24 you get to 61. 61 plus 66 you get to 127. That's how you trace the answer. So for part C there, you have the last thing to do. Let's check their relationship first. So 1 to 4, the difference is 3. 4 out of a sudden, it increased by 12. Then 64, the difference is 48. Okay, same thing, the difference is so drastic, so obviously it's nothing to do with geometric or arithmetic. Then I resort to my last possible option, which is 1, 4, 16. Okay, let me write it somewhere else. Move it a bit here. Shift this thing away because it was so easy. Okay, so let's see what I can do then. This is when n is 1, n is 2, n is 3, n is 4. By looking at it, this 4 has something to do with the power of 4. So this is the first assumption that I make. Okay, then you're gonna check how do you relate these two things up. Then you will notice you can actually set it as 1 minus 1, 2 minus 1, 3 minus 1, 4 minus 1. So from this, immediately you can assume the formula is 4n minus 1. So we can trace the fifth term by substituting 4 to the power of 5 minus 1, which is 4 to the power of 4. Then you get your final answer as 256. So this is question 11 solution. So out of the 3 papers so far, because of paper 2 being so hard for variant 3, their paper 4 here is actually relatively easy. So as long as you're familiar with all the formulas involving, then it should be solvable. So this is pretty much it for this paper review. I hope you find it helpful. If you have friends that are struggling, feel free to share this to them. And I wish you all the best in your upcoming examination. So if you got any feedbacks about this new format of paper review, or you got any suggestion, feel free to leave it in the comment section. So that's pretty much it. Bye bye.